Wasn't that a shot?
Yeah. Things have been so quiet, I thought something had gone wrong.
You're the marshal. Aren't you going to investigate it?
I don't have enough police to investigate every shot at this time of night. Besides, I'm staying long enough to call your bluff.
Is the city marshal here?
100?
Are you City Marshal Wayne?
And I'll up at 100. Yes, what can I do for you?
I am J. Jimmerson Jones, Incorporated.
Incorporated? What?
I wish to report that I have been murdered.
He has been shot in the head. Put him in your back room. I'll get a doctor.
California, California,
The Californians.
California, I've come to live where life is best. In the Golden West, I'm gonna strike it rich in California. California.
Find out anything?
As usual, nobody heard anything, nobody saw anything. How is he?
Bullet just creased him.
50,000 in gold. They took it. You gotta get it back.
Learn anything?
J. Jimmerson Jones doesn't have too many friends, but I did get a line on him. Odd job man, sweeper, messenger. He left town about 3 months ago.
Where's your boss, feller?
I'm the boss. Name's Marston.
I want to see Jimmerson Jones, the old boy that was shot last night.
What'd you want to see him about?
Who are you?
Matthew Wayne, City Marshal of San Francisco, and I asked you a question.
My name's Jackson. Pack Jackson. Jimmerson and me, we prospected up near Tulame last year. He ain't gonna die, is he?
I don't think so. You can go see him.
Right through that door, turn to your right, first door to the left.
Much obliged.
Hey. Hey, wake up. It's me.
50,000. Who?
Pack Jackson. Wake up, wake up.
$50,000. Big round gold dollars.
Tell me who shot you? Hey, Jimmerson, tell me who shot you. Who?
Too bad.
Even Jimmerson's best friends say he's a liar. Claim he never had more than $5 in his pocket the best day of his life.
Somebody took a shot at him for some reason.
The people in this town would shoot you for 2 bits.
What are you doing to me? You will you hammer-headed baboon? Insult me, will you?
What's all the ruckus?
What kind of a hotel you running around here anyways? I've been working hard all my life to get enough money to have breakfast in bed. Now that I've got it, that baboon brings me in mush and milk toast and an orange.
What's wrong with that?
Whiskey's what I want. Whiskey and flapjacks and a steak.
Calm down, old-timer. This isn't a hotel.
It ain't. Well, what is it?
This is the back room of my saloon.
Well, what am I doing in the back room of a saloon? I'm J. Jimmerson Jones, Incorporated.
Now, listen, you're only one person. What gives you the notion you're so many people?
Well, I'm a corporation. I'm a valuable piece of property. I am. I'm worth $50,000.
So you keep saying. How are you carrying that $50,000, JJ?
Cash? $50 gold pieces?
$50,000 in $50 gold pieces would weigh as much as you do.
You must have been carrying an awfully big poke, Jimmerson.
I wasn't carrying it in no poke, you jackass. Jenny was a-toting it.
Jenny?
Yeah, my burrow.
You were wandering around town with a burrow load of gold? Why?
Well, because I was delivering it someplace, and I didn't want to get robbed. Folks would think I was just an old prospector on his way out of town. Where's Jenny? Where's my gold?
When I put you in bed, you didn't have $1 in your pocket.
What is this, a crimp joint? Help! 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 Poor old man's been robbed. Help! Let me out of here.
Okay, J.J., take it easy. I'm the city marshal, Matthew Wayne. You're not being shanghaied. Now, you were shot last night. Remember that?
Yes, I remember. I was on my way to the Metropole Hotel, and what did they do to Jenny, Marshal?
I didn't see a burrow anywhere.
$50,000. Looks like my corporation is done gone bust.
What do you mean by corporation?
Well, I found tracings of gold in a box canyon near Placerville last summer. I needed money for dynamite and stuff. Nobody in town would believe there was anything there. Well, excepting 3 friends. And they took a chance on me. So I sold them shares in whatever I'd find, 25% each. Boys, meet my prettiest stockholder, Wilma Fansler.
Hello.
I came as soon as I heard. Oh, you poor dear. Is it bad, Jimmy?
Well, I'm kind of groggy, that's all. I did what I said I would, Wilma. I found a whole nest full of nuggets, and I cashed it in for gold pieces so we could divide it, but... Well, I'm sorry, Wilma.
The money doesn't matter, Jimmy.
Would you boys mind if I talked to Wilma in private?
I couldn't leave you with more charming company, J.J.
I see you got an eye for an ankle, Sonny.
Who was it? Who robbed you?
You're mighty pretty, Wilma. Like a field of daisies on a spring day.
Jimmy, which one was it?
Yes, sir. Mighty pretty. Closer. Closer, Wilma.
Yes, Jimmy.
It was,
Yes.
it was Pat Jackson.
Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Miss Fansler, did he tell you anything I ought to know? I'm Matt Wayne, the city marshal.
If you're a marshal, why are you hanging around a saloon?
Waiting for somebody to have a drink with. What'll you have?
I don't drink. Why aren't you looking for the man who stole Mr. Jones' $50,000?
I haven't any idea where to look. Besides, how do you know he had $50,000?
Jimmy wouldn't lie. Not to me. Besides, the money isn't the important thing right now. I want Jimmy to get well. He was a friend of my late husband's.
Oh, then it's Mrs. Fansler.
Would $200 or $300 help?
Well, the only medicine he'll drink is whiskey, and his host owns this saloon. You must be pretty well fixed, Mrs. Fansler.
Well enough, so I'm more worried about Mr. Jones' health than his money. Do you conduct all your business in this saloon, Marshal?
A saloon is a good place to hear things and to meet people, like I just met you. Jimmerson said that he wanted to talk to you alone. Are you sure he didn't say anything that I ought to know?
I'm sure, Marshal. And if you'll excuse me, I find the atmosphere in here quite disturbing.
Yes, it does smell of whiskey, doesn't it?
Reb, I'm being followed.
Better tell your watchdog to distinguish between friend and foe, Mrs. Fansler.
Oh, that was Reb. He looks after me. Keeps out unwelcome visitors. I've been annoyed before by strangers who took advantage of my being a widow by trying to force their attentions on me.
Oh? But we're not strangers. We have a lot in common. We're both friends and well-wishers of J. Jimmerson Jones.
Nevertheless, I'll have to ask you to leave, Marshal.
Can't I join the others?
What others? Well, I have to make a living. Come on in. Make yourself at home. Boys, we have an added starter. Meet Matt Wayne, City Marshal.
The game is over, gentlemen. The place is raided.
What?
It's unlicensed and out of bounds. Are you gentlemen leaving, or would you like a quick dip in our municipal bucket?
Marshal, are you closing me down?
Not at all. When I gamble, I like privacy, that's all. I'll buck the house. Blackjack?
You named it. I've heard you're quite a gambler.
I do my best thinking with cards in my hand. Relaxes me.
Tell me, Marshal, what made you suspect I wasn't all I tried to make you think I was?
When you opened your purse in the saloon, I noticed 3 decks of playing cards. Special kind of playing cards. Readers, we call them. King of spades, deuce of diamonds, jack of hearts.
Well, seems to me you know too much about marked cards to be strictly on the level yourself.
I've been around. So you did need money. Enough to cheat at cards.
Not enough to kill Jimmy, if that's what you're getting at.
Why don't you tell me the truth? What did Jimmerson say?
Jimmy just mumbled. Mentioned Pac Jackson.
What did he say about Jackson?
Nothing, just mentioned his name.
Do you know where I can find Jackson?
I know where I can find him tonight.
All right. Tonight.
And I promise you this, Mr. Wayne. Everything will be half yours. It's a warehouse. Here we are. He's a night watchman. Usually he's asleep on the job.
You seem to know a lot about his habits. Jackson, open up! Jackson!
Pac Jackson.
Why do you suppose anybody do that to old Pac Jackson?
A warehouse would be a good place to hide a burrow. Maybe somebody found him there with the gold and took it away from him.
Well, what makes you think old Pac stole the money, son?
Oh, wait a minute. Didn't you say something to Wilma Fansler about seeing him there in the alley the night you were robbed?
Well, old Pac was a low, miserable cuss, but he wouldn't rob his old friend J. Jimmerson Jones. I got it, son. I must have said something about that gold being in a pack on the burrow, and Wilma thought I was talking about old Pac Jackson.
Yes, that's exactly what she does think.
What you chewing at, son? Spit it out.
Where did you change gold nuggets into 160 pounds of gold pieces?
Well, don't seem to recollect. Everything that happened before and after I was shot, kind of fuzzy. Funny, ain't it?
If you changed raw gold into coin, there must be a record of that transaction.
Why don't you look in my boots? In the closet. The left one. You find it?
Gold purchase form. $50,000.
I told you so.
Signed by Paul Saunders, Montgomery Street Bank.
Sure. He's a stockholder in me.
Jimmerson, was he the only one that knew that you had that gold?
Well, that's kind of fuzzy, too, son. All I know is I spent a lifetime of toil getting it. I wanted to share it with my partners. All I wanted for myself was enough to have an easy living, like breakfast in bed and a fine funeral when I cash in my chips.
You may be able to afford it yet, old-timer.
Yes, I made the transaction in my capacity as vice president and treasurer of this bank. Is there anything wrong, Marshal?
Just this. As far as I know, you're the only one of the partners that knew Jimmerson actually had struck gold.
And your deduction is that I waylaid Jimmerson in the alley, shot him, and made off with a burrow load of gold pieces.
Yes, that's my general line of thinking.
Well, there's only one flaw in your hypothesis, Marshal.
What's that?
I wasn't the only one who knew that Jimmerson had struck it rich. He'd notified us all by mail before he came to town. Jimmerson wanted the division of his bonanza to be the occasion of a celebration. He'd written ahead and reserved a room at the Metropole Hotel, a private banquet room. The partners were to meet him there for a champagne supper.
And?
I was there.
Who else?
Pac Jackson was there. You see, Pac and I would have furnished perfect alibis for one another.
Except that Pac is now dead.
Unfortunately, yes. But the fact remains that only two of us showed up at that banquet room. The widow Fansler was unaccountably missing.
Oh. Sorry to hear that. But it gives me an excuse to pay another call on her.
She is charming, isn't she? Give her my warmest regards.
I will.
Hello, Matt. Oh, you're welcome. I'm as nervous as a cat. Sit down. Can I get something for you?
No thanks, Mrs. Fansler.
Oh, we're old friends. Call me Wilma.
You know, you have a lovely neck. It'd be a shame to see rope burns on it. Wilma.
Oh, well, call me Mrs. Fansler. What are you talking about?
Why weren't you at that party Friday night?
What party?
J. Jimmerson Jones notified the 3 stockholders to meet him at the Metropole Hotel. He was going to serve champagne, divide the profits. Saunders was there. Pac Jackson was there. Why weren't you?
Oh, well, maybe I was lying in wait for Jimmy in the alley. Maybe I shot him and took his money.
That's an interesting theory. It wouldn't have occurred to me in a million years.
Well, maybe I went to the warehouse and beat Jackson unconscious and hanged him, all with my 2 bare hands.
Such lovely hands, too.
Why would I kill Jackson if I already had the money?
That's a disturbing thought. Why did you?
Are you actually suggesting that I killed Jackson all by myself?
You could have had help.
I wasn't anywhere near the warehouse. And I'll tell you why I didn't go to Jimmy's party. Because I didn't know anything about it. I wasn't invited.
It's that simple, huh?
It's that simple. Maybe there's a reason why I didn't get the invitation. Maybe someone intercepted it so it would put the suspicion on me.
Maybe. But that does away with my theory that you robbed Jimmerson.
Well, I certainly hope it does. And now, do you want to know where I was that night? I was at my sister's across town, and I can prove it.
I bet you can.
Don't you believe me?
You know, there's something about this case. It's as queer as a Chinese faro deck. It's like playing poker with 5 aces.
Speaking of poker, I got a new deck of cards, and I defy you to find the mark on them. Feel lucky?
Not today.
Some other time. You know, a widow gets awfully lonesome sometimes, Matt.
I'll remember that, Mrs. Fansler.
Call me Wilma.
How do you feel, Jimmerson?
Mighty perky, son. Doc says I'll be out of this bed in 2-3 days. How are you making out?
I'm not making out.
Well, you just keep chawing at it, son. Something will come up.
Jimmerson, Saunders says you planned a champagne party that night. Remember that?
I don't recollect, son, but it sounds like me. If you got $1, spend 90 cents. Live high, wide, and handsome. But save enough money for a fine funeral, I says. Oh, I'll have a wake they'll mark time by. Lots of whiskey, gin, beer, and I'll be in a coffin big as a barge, gold handles and all. That is, if you get my money back, son.
I'm doing my best. I wouldn't take that bandage off if I were you.
Well, the doc says it's all healed. Only thing that bothers me is that doggone powder burn. It itches like the dickens.
Powder burns?
Matt, would you come out here, please? This note was slipped under my door.
The gold was in the warehouse all the time. It still is. If you want to make a deal, be there at 10 o'clock.
I wouldn't think of going there myself.
I'll go with you. Want to come along?
Two's company. I'll stay here.
Matt, what I said still goes. Half of everything's yours. I mean the money, of course.
Of course. Say something to him.
Why are you shooting at me? Who are you? Why are you shooting at me?
You won't get it. I've killed once for it.
Saunders, what were you doing here?
I got a note. Told me where the gold is. Box marked 000.
You said you killed for the gold. You mean you killed Pac Jackson?
Yes. He accused me of having Jimmerson robbed. Tried to kill me. I beat him to it.
Who shot you now?
Didn't you?
No, I couldn't even see you.
Didn't see.
Shot in the back. Up close. Powder burns.
Poor Paul. Well, I guess he deserved it. Let's look for the box with the 000.
There won't be any box. I know who has that gold now. I'm new to this Marshal business. I should have been on to him a long time ago.
Who?
J. Jimmerson Jones, of course. He faked that robbery, hoping that the three of you would kill each other off to try and get the gold, and then he'd wind up with it all to himself.
Oh, I don't believe it.
No. Almost worked. He has Jackson out of the way. Tonight he sends notes to you and Saunders, figuring one will kill the other, and he'll be here to shoot who's ever left.
But how could he have done that? He's a sick man.
He faked that, too. He even fooled the doctor.
I still don't believe it.
No? Let's find Jimmerson. I'll prove it to you.
Matt, Jimmerson's disappeared.
He won't get very far.
California, there's gold in them there hills in California. I've come to live. Well, howdy, son.
Howdy, Jimmerson. Where are you headed?
Oh, I figured I'd find myself another steak.
Isn't $50,000 enough?
Beautiful stuff, ain't it, son? You want some? A whole hatful, maybe?
Jimmerson, you trying to bribe me?
You ain't all of a sudden going stupid on me, are you, son? Well, of course I'm trying to bribe you.
I'm afraid you'll have to come along with me.
What's going to happen to all that beautiful stuff, son?
The estates of Jackson and Saunders will get their share, so will Wilma Fansler. Not that it'll do you any good, but you can use your share to hire a good lawyer.
I worked too hard for that gold to fritter it away on no lawyer. I dreamt all my life of having breakfast in bed. I had that. The other thing...
I know, and I'll see that you get it. The finest funeral the money can buy. There'll be enough left for that.
Thank you, son. You got a big heart.
California. Oh, I've traveled here, I've traveled there. I guess I've been most everywhere. But I like where I am today, and here is where I'll stay. Now, one thing I just can't endure is being broke and being poor. So I come west to take the cure, and here is where I'll stay. I've come to California, California. There's gold in them there hills in California. I've come to live where life is best. In the golden west, I'm gonna strike it rich in California.